Welcome to Meta Tripping. So, yesterday's reading focused on the matrix feminine, which is really just the collective feminine, whether or not you're identifying with being on a divine feminine or divine masculine journey. It focused on the matrix feminine door slamming the matrix masculine, which is massively helpful for at least part of this ascension process for everyone, because it frees up dream, and dream is a very feminine energy. It's a water energy. You know, we enter dream as we know it when we relax into sleep and go into a receptivity. So I thought I would clarify the difference between matrix feminine and masculine mentality, what it is, why I use that phrase, or that why I'm using that phrasing or that typifying to differentiate from divine feminine and masculine energies, because the fact is we can fall into either you know what I'm saying? If we're falling into old, subjugated, kind of imprisoned mentality patterns, then we're falling into a matrix mentality, period. It doesn't matter if you are a divine masculine or divine feminine, you're in a matrix mentality whenever you're falling into trauma patterns and reacting out of those trauma patterns. It's being caught in a time loop. So it is important to differentiate where you are, what you're doing at any point in the process. When you're in divine feminine, divine masculine energies, now you're dealing with spirit, you're dealing with inspiration energy, you're dealing with being energized and being supported, and you are an energizer and a supporter. So key things to think about when we're talking about matrix mentality, we're talking about getting your mind out of the cage that has imprisoned your ancestors for generations upon generations upon generations, and inadvertently supported power structures that are vampiric. Okay, so a matrix feminine and masculine energy is inevitably a vampiric energy. It's an energy of lack. It's an energy of feeling like you don't have enough. And when you're in that place, there's almost no other way to go if you're not going to step into your divine inspiration. There's almost no other way to go but to follow the patterns that have been laid, and actions become very reactive, extremely predictable, and you now have the alpha beta complex, which is the dominator and the dominated or the subjugated. All right, so what we're dealing with now, we're dealing with the subjugated matrix feminine mentality across the board, having door slammed and all summer in the process of door slamming this dominator energy, which needs to happen. So, I mean, we have we can see there are a lot of divine feminine, divine masculine videos out there. I put out the State of the Sacred Union video from time to time. I don't only focus on the twin flame journey. I know it's popular, but this channel is more concerned with getting to the heart of solutions for the ascension process. So we can make this journey more of an actionable and empowered one, as opposed to feeling like we're at the mercy of some label or some complex or other. All right. So I include in the State of the Sacred Union readings soulmates. If you resonate as a twin flame, that's cool too. If you prefer to call yourself a sacred partner, that's cool too. I personally believe at this point in my ascension journey that there's room for everything. We're in a limitless multiverse, and it is about choice. The matrix setup has done everything in its power to limit our awareness that we even have a choice, or that we have more choices or limitless choices beyond, the 1, 2, or 3 choices that are placed before us. So I really like to get away from what's popular for the sake of popularity or the sake of views, and focus more on like what works, what's truly rooted in spirit, what's truly guided, and take it from there. And then those that find themselves attracted to this channel, they can take what comes and utilize it to empowered benefit. Because I know, I was personally contacted, if you will. I've received contact. I mean, I've come to the point where I identify as a starseed. I think there are a lot of people out there that are starseeds and are awakening. I did not believe in aliens. It never, ever resonated with me until I had an experience that I'm not going to get into the details of it at this time. Just, spirit is guiding me not to. But just to overview it, I went through an experience that scared me a little until I calmed down enough and I realized notification. I realized the transmissions that were coming through and couldn't deny everything that was happening after that. Before that, I had a couple of dreams that were very holographic in nature, like unlike any dreams that I had before. I was being told I was a twin flame, and I did not believe it. I tend to go with my gut on things. I don't just go with what I'm handed. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, then it becomes a point of consideration, and I'll see how I feel about it. Mind you, some things that didn't resonate at a certain time, I later opened to. But I still found myself gravitating towards like twin flame videos and that sort of thing. And I found it more imprisoning and more anxiety driving than helpful. I found there was an energy behind it, and this is no disrespect intended to anyone who feels very strongly about the twin flame journey, but I just think that there's way more beyond that. I do. I don't know that I believe that, you're assigned this one person and you have to deal with their quirks and even abuses for situations where there are abuses present. I think those who approach counseling the twin flame journey in that way, and it's obviously not all people who are counseling folks on the twin flame journey, I think it creates a feeling of powerless and a feeling of I don't have a choice in whom I choose to be my partner and who chooses me to be their partner. So I just don't rock with it, right? At the same time, there are those who do. And I definitely don't want to discredit anyone else's resonance and what they're vibing with, okay? Because there are all kinds of astral constructs. All kinds of astral constructs. I may not gel with that particular ideology. I gel more with a soulmate ideology. I gel more with a sacred union ideology. And I do feel that when you're dealing with your sacred other, for lack of another way to describe it, it's a heart thing, not an ego thing, not a running away from it type of thing, and not a chasing it type of thing. To me, those are ego constructs. And I believe me, I've watched so many videos on this. I get it. I get that what's being said with the twin flame journey is that it's a runner-chaser dynamic that is part of the process, which, inevitably would break people who are identifying with that out of ego constructs. But I've had soulmate contact that is of the heart, and it feels completely different, and it's unconditional. And it's not maddening, and it's I don't even know if I would call it catalyzing. It's like finding home. It's like finding soul family. Okay, so if you're finding yourself on a journey with someone, and they do have the whole couple of years ago, the new thing that emerged was like the catalyst twin. And, where people say, well, you haven't met your true twin, you've met your catalyst twin. And this is cool. I mean, those who are dealing with that journey, will resonate with what they resonate with. But to me, the twin flame journey is, it is a catalyzing journey. It is a maddening journey. It will break you out of ego, but it can also like destroy the needed aspects of ego. And to me, it really is, at this point in my evolution and how it resonates, it really comes off more as an empath narcissist dynamic. And I have heard, others who have their own strong feelings about it, who have said that it's a trick, that it's an astral trick. Let's not play around and act like there aren't entities still trying to maintain control. And what better way than to maintain control by telling you this is who you're meant for. Hold on. Keep feeding them energy. No. Take care of yourself. Okay, so bottom line is, if you're taking care of yourself, you're doing your self-care, and you're showing your self-love, your resonance is now going to become, you're going to have an aura that's going to attract people that do that same thing for you. Okay? I don't want to rattle anyone unnecessarily, and you feel free to leave whatever comments, hopefully reasonable comments, because I certainly will ignore those who come off with hostility. I just don't have time for it these days. I used to be a little more patient, but look, y'all, we're in an ascension process. But I'm definitely interested in kicking around ideas and sharing experiences and what resonates and all of that. But to me, the twin flame journey more so resonates as a matrix feminine and masculine dynamic. And if anything can be useful. Even the most horrid experiences can be useful. But I say, if anything, I think the twin flame journey, as I've researched it, understood it, experienced it, and how it resonates with me, is more so a question of autonomy. What comes out of it is autonomy. What comes out of it is, why are you focused on someone who is reflecting to you your own lack of self-worth, your own lack of believing you are worthy of true love? Because if you come to a place within yourself where you have healed from your wounds, then you're going to find that you can resonate to true love and attract it, because that's where you are. I'm of the school of thought and belief and resonance at this point in my evolution that whomever is showing up for you, that is extending true love and divine heart, from a soul family level, whether it's a soulmate, a sacred other, whether it's someone that you've shared lifetimes with before, in a harmony of unconditional love, they're showing up because you are now in a space to allow it. And you're not going to have to chase anybody or run from anybody. If you're running from somebody, you got some questions to ask. You know what I'm saying? Yourself. If you keep getting pulled back in those magnetics, I don't find that the most healthy relationships are dealing with magnetics on a level that would pull one away from their personal peace. Okay? So moving on to this whole divine feminine and divine masculine thing, I resonate with this more along the lines of soulmates. And it's a different axis, because if we're talking about flames, we're talking about, mind and spirit, which is exactly what the twin flame journey sounds like. The mind and spirit trying to come together. You know what I'm saying? That's only one aspect of the axis. On the other aspect of the axis, where we're talking about descent into a body, descent of the soul into a body, now we're talking about the water element, and we're talking about the earth element. To me, that's the soulmate axis. This is you coming down from your soul family into a body, and then you're going to deal with whether or not you're resonating on a certain level, whether or not your frequency is right, which is the mind spirit axis. If your frequency is in a place where you are in a space of self-love, now you can connect with members of soul family. Okay. And soul family is not necessarily going to be blood family. Unfortunately, we can have a lot of situations where blood family catalyze us after even coming close to destroying our minds or destroying us with matrix programs. They can catalyze us to be so tired of being stepped on and kicked around and feeling unloved and feeling out of place and feeling like the black sheep, that we go off and we find those members of soul family, those members of family of the heart, that actually, like, our heart lights light up and their heart lights light up and it flows. And it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but the point is, in those types of situations, when you're dealing with soul family, even if there are situations of anger or frustration or irritation, it's different. It's not warfare. It's when you truly love someone, and it's not lust based and it's not possession based, and it's not, now you can have conversations around certain things and you can find resolutions. Okay, so this, to me, when we're dealing with divine feminine and masculine energies, this is what I'm talking about whenever you tune into the State of the Sacred Union readings, because soulmates can have their issues too, and usually it's due to being on a mental frequency of thought and belief systems that do not resonate with self-love. And if you can't resonate with self-love, you can't identify with the soul family that you emerged from, the soul family that is in the astral and in the ethers that you are a part of and come from. You can't connect with them. You're going to find yourself surrounded by those who don't understand you, who criticize you, who try to dominate your life, who try to get you for your energy. So I'm offering all these things up for thought. Another thing I wanted to touch on with the Matrix Feminine and Masculine reading yesterday, and some messages did come up for the Divine Feminine and Masculine, but mainly yesterday's reading was to help those who were struggling with kind of the Matrix shadow energies that rose up after such beautiful opportunities started to break through on Saturday. There was something that Spirit had said, saying that the feminine can no longer do the work for the masculine because it will literally destroy her. And I was on my feed on YouTube, settling in, trying to get to sleep because I've had like these, through this process, kind of like moments of high energy, almost anxiety driven, where I had to do. And then like I couldn't do anymore. I had to just, you know what I'm saying? Go into the exhaustion end of it, because that was the polarity axis that I was battling. And it's an old polarity axis of just being a workaholic and using work to evade life, right? It's been my problem. Trust me, y'all. I probably would have had like 100 videos up if I wasn't working on not utilizing work as escapism. I'm working on that. I'm working on learning how to sit with myself and be still and be calm, because I've had this idea that I'm like this inexhaustible fountain of energy. And, in a spiritual sense, you know what I'm saying? We are that, but we do have to take our time to rest and collect and make sure we're being taken care of and we're allowing ourselves to be taken care of. But something that was very interesting about that message that came through from Spirit, after I had posted the reading, I'm on the feed, and it's like, these are like early morning, early AM, you know what I'm saying, but still dark outside type hours. And there's I don't know this rapper. I do differentiate from rappers and MCs. I think there is a world of difference. All right. No disrespect. I haven't heard his music. I may go check it out so that I'm not being closed-minded. Oh, what is this brother's name? His name, NBA Young Boy. All right. I'm bringing him up because Spirit will give you a message, and then it will show you in this, world dynamic that we're in the physical world, that, yeah, this message holds. Okay. So this is one of the ways that Spirit is speaking to you, and the message it gave you is on point, and it came straight from Spirit, which at this point I know when it comes from Spirit, but still, confirmation is always good, and this confirmation was probably given to me so I could give it to y'all. Well, apparently he was shot at, but his woman is the one who got hit. Okay? Marinate on that. He was shot at, she got hit. That goes in line with what Spirit said. Spirit said we're at a point where the feminine can no longer do the work for the masculine, because it will literally destroy her. Okay? So this is hugely important because it touches on all class levels and lifestyles and what have you. This whole mentality that women have of holding your man down and ride or die and all that has prevailed. You know what I'm saying? It's prevailed. It's been so ingrained in the matrix mentality and the matrix programs that have been heaped upon women that your job is to be the support and he's the leader and he gets to play, but you better be the good girl and you better hold it down and you better stuff down your tears and not acknowledge your own needs. Well, those times are over, and I wanted to let you know about that, the confirmation of the message from spirit, because this is serious. This young woman got shot, y'all, because he was being shot at. Don't play with this energy. Don't play with this energy. Don't play with these energies. This is Pluto in retrograde energy. This is Saturn in retrograde energy and Jupiter in retrograde energy. Do not play with these energies. Don't keep putting yourself on the line, because then you're just placing yourself up to be a sacrifice. It's time to really get in touch with your needs. And so feminines out there, whether you are in a matrix feminine mentality or whether you are on a divine feminine path, you know what I'm saying? And, in my view, this is a choice. And you can always tell where you're at, because if you feel disempowered and you feel lonely and you feel neglected, abandoned, unappreciated, these are matrix programs. When you're in the correct resonance, and granted, these are matrix programs that were heaped upon you, so this is not any form of coming at you or saying you're doing it wrong. What I'm saying is it's time to wake up out of that. And we do this by reprogramming our minds. I am going to be putting up a quantum self-care affirmation video. I do hope to get it done this week. I was very disappointed. I put in hours doing the new moon zodiac readings, and because of the length, when I went to edit them, it was a problem. The program kept crashing. I really do have to invest in new technology, but financially, unfortunately that's going to have to wait until the finances are there for it, because look, we all got to pay our rent and our bills and that sort of thing. But when I do have new technology, I definitely plan to upgrade the channel, and it'll be a lot more interesting. I do plan to do pick a card readings and all of that. For now, I am creatively, and in my divine feminine seas, I am finding ways to provide a service with what I have, which is what you do when you're on your Haru journey. You're going to find what works, and you're not going to focus on lack. You're not going to focus on what decisions of the past created in the form of lack in your life. All right. So I will get that up as soon as I possibly can. I'm probably going to keep it brief. Maybe it might be like a half-hour vid or a 15-minute vid. But it'll be something that you can utilize every day. You can tune in and you can repeat these affirmations alongside the video and start to reprogram your mind. Because if you start to reprogram your subconscious thoughts and you're speaking into the ethers, trust me, it works. These thoughts are now going to start playing. This is how the subconscious mind works. It repeats. So that's coming, and I would encourage you to put in affirmations into YouTube, into your preferred search engine, wherever you want to find them, and rock it out. There are all kinds of affirmation videos out there that can help you get aligned with prosperity, get aligned with self-love. You know what I'm saying? Get aligned with heart healing. All right. So I don't want to keep this video too long. It's not a reading, but I wanted to clarify what I meant when I was saying matrix feminine and matrix masculine. It's a level of mind state that most of this world has been stuck in because of generations upon generations of this mentality that men have to be brusque and macho and unfeeling, and you're not allowed to cry, which is just nonsense, yo. Like if you're not allowed to cry, you're not even acknowledging the divine feminine energy within you. Well, so what else are you going to be? Of course you're going to be hostile and mad, and you're going to want to break things. It's falsity. We've been steeped in falsehood, and the way to break through it is proactively reprogramming your mind. We can't expect that the fairy godmothers and fairy godfathers are going to come through with magic wands and make everything all right for us. We have our own wills. You understand what I'm saying? You have to learn how to wield your will. And in order to wield your will, your mind has to be right. You need to be in the right frequency. How do you get in the right frequency? Affirmations, meditation, by focusing on exactly where you want to be, what alignment you want to be in. And you do that long enough. I mean, with affirmations, it's like it takes about 21 days. And it may not even take that long nowadays, just with everything that's changed in this ascension process. But the point is, you're going to notice a change in your life. You're going to notice it's easy. If you have a problem saying no, you're going to notice it's much easier to say no these days. Because every morning or every night, whenever you want to utilize it, you are telling yourself, oh, okay, wait a second, I am worthy. I follow synchronicity. So now you're following spirit. Now you're telling your subconscious mind, this is what I do. Now you're I, self, Lord, and master. Now you are mastering yourself, which is the whole point. The whole point is to know thyself. The whole point is to master yourself, not be mastered by something else that really don't care about you and just wants your energy for their own thing. All right. Breaking these habits is going to take work. And the work is going to be in reprogramming your mind. And honestly, like, I don't see any other way. I've been on this journey, my goodness, since I was 12 is when I really started to look at it, because I had some very scary experiences as a child, just with clairaudience and clairvoyance. And I wasn't, because of my childhood home dynamics, my astral configuration didn't have me placed in the astral in a nice place. So I had a lot of things coming for me and attacking for me. And that tends to be the case, you know, whether you're a starseed, whether you're, which is basically that you've come down from a certain aspect of the ether, from a certain soul family in the stars, you know, whether you want to place names to it or not. I mean, there is a certain traditionalism to it at this point. I don't know if I'm rocking with all of that, but I will be posting more videos about the starseed journey from what I've seen it, because this is something that I've been waking up to since 2016. So I haven't been aware that I should even utilize that label until around then. And I was still kind of like, what? Huh? Oh, come on. But you can't deny what's actually happening to you, especially when you're having astral interfaces with entities and it can't be denied, or where you can't move. You understand what I'm saying? Because your body's being worked on by something. And as scary as it is, then you turn around and you're like, oh, wait a second. This actually improves some things for me. So, you know, it is what it is. All right, this is going a little long. I don't want this to go too long because it's not a reading, but it is there to help to remind you that you can get out of all of these situations. All of these situations that are being dealt with are based on lack mentality, that are born of matrix forged feminine and masculine mentalities through the generations that we're here to break. Okay? Let that resonate. If you're here to break it, if you're tuning into this, you're here to break those generational patterns. That's a job of high honor, and it ain't easy. What jobs of high honor are? You know what I'm saying? And there's abundance on the other side of it. And there's your true path, which is bliss, on the other side of it. So in these hard times where the energies are difficult and we feel like we can't find ourselves, well, how do we get back in alignment? Talk yourself into alignment. Talk yourself into alignment. Tell yourself where you're going. Utilize your affirmations. What timeline are you going to tap into? Oh, well, shoot. I'm going to tap into a timeline where I am greater than my challenges, because I am. I'm not going to tap into a past crumbling, fading matrix timeline where disempowerment replays. And look, y'all, I know, not just for myself, but for many, for people I've done readings for family members, friends, where these situations have been playing around, where they're like, yo, why is this coming up again? I thought I beat that. Well, yeah, you might have beat it in 3 different situations, but did you uproot the belief system that you deserve to be subjected to that nonsense? No? Okay, because if you didn't uproot it by replacing it with something empowering, it's going to come back and try to get you again. That's how it works. All right? So I'm going to leave it here. Peace and love to you. I hope this is helpful and clarifying. And, you know, I'll be getting that affirmation video up. I do intend to do it this week, along with the full moon and Scorpio readings, because the full moon in Scorpio is coming up on the 18th, y'all. And I may put up a reading for star seeds. That's also a possibility. I'm not sure when that's coming. And also there may be another video for the state of the sacred, I'm sorry, for the state of the sacred union for the divine feminine and divine masculine, because I do think that there's more of an accord taking place energetically for the divine feminine and divine masculine, which is beautiful. But of course, the matrix want to come through and confuse things. So it does help to have a reading that helps you tap in and look into that every now and again, so that you know what you can utilize, or be reminded of what you can utilize to not feed in to the nonsense. All right, y'all. Happy Moon Day. Peace and blessings on your ascension journey. And I'll be back with more gems, as quantum reality permits. Peace.